Hi guys, welcome back to Miscellaneous Pleasures. This is a short video about, I'm guessing it's going to be about 10 to 15 minutes, but I'm not exactly sure. This is going to be my preview for the Manchester United game against Istanbul Basaksehir. It's an away game for us and it's at 23:25 p 23:25 IST. So in GMT or in those sort of time zones, I'm guessing it's in England. It's basically, I think, going to be at what 5:55 p.m. or something like that. So yeah, so let me get straight into the video. Effectively, it has been a it has been a basically a period of extreme highs and pretty bad lows for Manchester United. And the thing is, if you had told any Manchester United fan at the beginning of this phase, when I say beginning, I mean just before the Newcastle game, if you had told any Manchester United fan that United would have 3 wins, a draw, and a loss from Newcastle, PSG, Chelsea, Leipzig, and Arsenal, we would have taken it. Honestly, at least I would have taken it. I'm sure that there will be a lot of United fans who would have taken it. Yes, of course, there are people who would have been like, Manchester United, we should be winning all games, blah, blah, blah. But realistically speaking, that's a very good return. Even if you discard the Newcastle game and go, 4 games, 2 wins, 1 draw, and a loss, as a realist, I'll probably still take it. But the problem is not that we had a loss against Arsenal or that we had a draw against Chelsea at home. The problem is that the way we played in those games, and when I say the way, I mean the players' mentality, the players' performance, Solskjaer's tactics, Solskjaer's team selection, all these things make me uncomfortable going into, not really going into this game, but certainly going into the season, because 6 games, 7 points, and for the past 2 or 3 days, not 3 days, but since basically the Sunday evening, there have of course been a lot of people who have reacted in quite a reactive way, like emotions and stuff like that, and I do get it, right? I may not have exactly shown it in the Football Manager video that I had made, which I was doing it live while the game was going on. But I was absolutely gutted because Solskjaer has this tendency, or at least our team under Solskjaer has this tendency of, we know in the first season when he was an interim manager for the majority of the time, from about the middle of December till about first week of March, we were invincible effectively. We lost against PSG, I know, 2-0. But in that period, whenever we played a game, I was confident that we would win. Of course, the same type of set of games came last season after Bruno Fernandes came. I think we drew a game against Wolves. We may have, I think, drawn another game after he came. I'm not exactly sure. But then, since he came in the Premier League, we have 14 games and 32 points. And since he came, we played all our Europa League games. And before lockdown, Bruno Fernandes did not play with Marcus Rashford. So that Manchester United side had no Marcus Rashford and no Paul Pogba. And it just had the addition of Bruno Fernandes to it. And of course, after lockdown, we also played really well and we tailed down, like our performance went down the hill a bit towards the end of the season, but that happens, right? So we had that period, of course, and then when this basically period started, like Newcastle win, PSG win, and even a Chelsea draw, which wasn't the worst result in my opinion. It was just the way we played and the way we set up. And of course, after the Leipzig win, I was like, 4 games, 3 wins, a draw. If we can manage to win against Arsenal, and Istanbul is the sort of game that we should be winning, regardless of how we have played in all the 99 games out of 100. If that one game we don't win, I'm going to be deeply disappointed, and I'm going to criticize every single person who was at fault for the loss. Of course, or draw actually. So, I mean, of course, I do expect United to win. I'm pretty sure that we will win because of the bounce back effect after a loss, rather after a bad performance. So, yeah, yeah. So the thing is, had we won against Arsenal, and Istanbul was the sort of game that we would be winning, and Everton have just lost like two games and drawn against Liverpool, which they should have lost. Basically, going into the next international break, I think United would have been in a much better position. But of course, we aren't. So I think there isn't any point in talking about it now. Talking of Istanbul, I have absolutely no idea about how good a team they are. I know that they have they obviously have Rafael, but I'm not exactly sure who else they have. And I mean, even if I look at their lineups in, let's say, their game against PSG, uh, I mean, I do recognize Curtle, of course, Rafael. This guy, I think, was there in some league. I have heard of this guy, probably in FIFA or something like that. But rest of the players, I don't really recognize, and even their bench. Oh, they have Dembaba. Obviously, that guy I do know. I'm not sure I know anybody else. But talking of the team and not about their individuals, I I can only go by the stats that I can see. And what I can see is that against PSG, they have had almost equal number of shots and equal number of shots on target. Their possession hasn't been that bad, considering they are playing against PSG. And the amount of passes obviously they have made, their pass accuracy, it all seems good. And even they have committed a lot of fouls, which makes me wonder if they are I won't call it a pressing side, but a side that is physical and tough to play against, because I have no idea about their heights and stuff, right? So I'm just going on the basis of these stats. And they obviously, I don't think, worried about getting yellow cards. And they have been attacking enough to get six corners in the game. I'm not sure if even United got those many number of corners in our game against PSG. So this is like data number one, right? So let me go to data number two, which actually happened before the data number one, against Leipzig. Because this is a game that I wasn't exactly following, but I had seen that Leipzig were leading 2-0 at halftime. And after the end of, I think this happened at the same time as ours. And after the end of our game, when I saw that they had lost 2-0, I was like, okay, so basically they did not concede any goals in the second half. So let me go to the stats of this game. I mean, they have had more possession than Leipzig, who are a pressing team, by the way, and so subsequently more number of passes. Their pass accuracy is also 80, which is more than what Leipzig had. They have committed a lot of fouls again, though not as much as Leipzig. But Leipzig are a pressing team, aren't they? They have committed these tactical fouls. So yeah, so simply going by these stats, I have a feeling that they are an underrated side. When I say underrated, I don't mean we should be rating them high, but what I mean is we should not be going into this game thinking that this is just Istanbul, who cares, we'll probably win this. It's not like that, and so we shouldn't be complacent. That's what I'm trying to say. So my lineup for the game is interesting because Champions League has 5 substitutions, right? I will probably go with De Gea, Van Bissaka. I'm so sorry for this notification. De Gea, Van Bissaka, Maguire, Tuanzebe, Luke Shaw, Matic, Van de Beek, Bruno, Mason, Martial, Cavani. I am skeptical about Cavani, to be honest, because I mean, I don't care how he plays in the future for us, but right now I'm not exactly sure if he's match fit and raring to go effectively. So obviously, if not for Cavani, then we can always have Rashford on the left and Martial up front, or maybe for Cavani we could probably have a Mata playing down the right, uh, Greenwood on the left and Martial up front, or Greenwood up front and Martial on the left. I don't think Dan James should be starting. Uh, Pogba, I mean, I wouldn't mind Pogba starting, but the thing is, for the Everton game, I want Fred, McTominay, and Bruno. Yes, I know that McTominay had an average game, and Fred basically got himself substituted because of the way he was playing. Like, he was good, but he committed a lot of fouls even after his yellow card, which was a bit like running the risk of going down to 10 men. So I do want Fred, McTominay, and Bruno, and I do want Rashford, Martial, and somebody on the right, either a Greenwood or a Mata, or somebody like that against Everton. And the back four is basically going to remain the same with Lindelof, Maguire, Van Bissaka, Shaw, and De Gea. So keeping that in mind, if Pogba starts against Istanbul, let's say ahead of Bruno, I have no issues with it. I think Matic should be starting 100%. I think Van de Beek should be starting 100% because, well, he last started against Brighton in the Carabao Cup, and or was it against some other team in Carabao Cup? I'm not exactly sure. I think it was Brighton, right? And he has made a few substitution appearances here and there, and I feel like Istanbul are the sort of team that if last season, if our first team was basically when Pogba was injured and Rashford was injured, if our first team was Van Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, Luke Shaw with De Gea behind, a Matic, Fred, Bruno with who was it? With Dan James, Martial, and say Greenwood. If that was the team, and if you imagined a second team with Lingard, Pereira, Igalo, Mata, maybe somebody like midfield, we didn't really have any options, so basically the same midfield with probably a McTominay. And in the defense, you could probably have put somebody like a Phil Jones, a Bailly, if he was fit. So when you think about all these things, I think our second team right now is at least has better players in it than the first team. And even though the defense is a bit depleted, with you could probably say that Brandon Williams should be starting at left back, and I wouldn't really have a problem with it. But the thing is, he doesn't really provide width, so that has to be kept in mind. If he can start at right back, I'll be happy. It's an experimentation which I consider worth taking a risk at or on. And similarly, so yeah, I do feel that Matic and Van de Beek have to start, and obviously Martial has to start because he hasn't started any of the Premier League games because he was suspended last 3 of them. So, and Greenwood got substituted last game, so probably he will start on the right or on the left, which leaves one position. Now, we could argue that Ole could go with a back three with Maguire, Tuanzebe, and Luke Shaw, Brandon Williams on the left and Van Bissaka on the right, Matic and Van de Beek as the two. Actually, Matic, Van de Beek, and Pogba as the three. Either Pogba or Bruno, I mean, depends on his team selection, with Martial and Greenwood up front. So he has 1 or 2 ways to go, and even he indicated that in the press conference before the Arsenal game when he said something like, we have 3 or 4 systems and a lot of players to move around in those systems, and we will use that. So I think we have to be careful with the players that we play, because Everton is a must-win. I don't care what anybody says, Everton is a must-win. We have 7 points from 6 games in the league. If we win, we would have 10 points from 7 games in the league, which is still below average. So yeah, we have to win that. I don't know why I'm showing you Istanbul's last few games. obviously PSG are playing Leipzig, and if I'm not mistaken, it's at Leipzig's home, Rasenbull Arena or something like that. So yeah, I hope the game is a draw because that would be helpful if we win and they both draw, so that the gap can be extended and we could probably finish first in that case. I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, I'm not all out, I'm actually all in. I'm not even on the fence at this point of time. But my sort of frame of mind in this scenario is that at the start of the season, when Jadon Sancho was supposedly coming, I had basically set out a target for Manchester United in my mind that we should be getting 80 points and we should be probably getting into quarterfinals in the Champions League depending on the group that we had and the fixtures that we had in there, and we should win at least one trophy, even if it is a Carabao Cup. I mean, nobody rates the League Cup. I mean, I'm not gonna call it Carabao Cup. It feels weird. I'm gonna call it the League Cup. So I do know that a lot of people don't rate it. I mean, I don't rate that tournament myself, but it's a feel-good factor to win something, and I feel that that's a sort of tournament that you win it, you have basically added a trophy in your cabinet, even though it's not worth anything, but you've added it. So it sort of has a feel-good factor around the place and sort of the winning mentality. So yeah, or the best would be the FA Cup, right? Because realistically, we are not winning the Premier League. There is no way we are winning the Champions League, and so which leaves the FA Cup. And if we could win the FA Cup, that would be really fun. And obviously, get to 80 points, and 80 points will definitely guarantee you top 4. When Jadon Sancho wasn't coming, I basically said, 76 points, because there should be an improvement in the team, and we have got good players in, right? I mean, if you forget about the debacle of buying players at the last minute, we still got Cavani, who is a good backup striker. We have Van de Beek, who is a good signing in the midfield. And I mean, I don't know how Pelistri is going to be. I don't even know if he could probably start tomorrow. But looking at those things, I set out a target of 76 points. And the thing is, if Olive doesn't have 30 points, if he doesn't have 33 points by the end of the 19 game mark, then I think he should be sacked, regardless of whether the squad is improving or whether the squad morale is high, or all those unquantifiable factors, or it's unquantifiable, right, or non-quantifiable, whatever. Basically, there is no metric you can put into those things, and as a fan, you are not really sure as to what goes on behind the scenes. So Ole has to get 33 points by the end of the 19 game mark, and as per theory he should get 38, but I'm not sure if he will get 38, because that would mean like getting 32 points from the next 13 games, which is a really good return, especially for a team like United. But the thing that I do feel confident about is the fact that for the last 2 seasons there have been like a good amount of games, sort of phases, where we have won literally everything apart from a game here and there. And if Solskjaer manages to go on one of those runs, then I feel like 76 is a target that he can reach, and I do feel confident about this team. I mean, looking at the positives, this season, forget the big teams, right, or the traditional top 6. Palace, Brighton, Newcastle, 3 games, 2 wins and a loss. And even though our performance in those first 2 games weren't good, but that was, in my opinion, mostly down to the match fitness. So if Solskjaer somehow manages to get this team winning against the smaller teams, there are like, 13 of them or something? Yeah, there are like 13 of them, right? Or 14 of them. And even if you like remove Leicester, Wolves, Leeds, Everton from that category, oh shit, just a second. I just completed the editing of, or the exporting the edited video of my Dark Season 1 Episode 2 reaction, and that was what you just saw, the beginning of it at least. So, as I was saying, like if United would go on those one of those runs, then I do feel confident about all of these things. And if we win against the smaller teams, and even if we don't consider the Leicesters, the Evertons, the Wolves, the Leeds, there are still 10 of them, 20 of those games. 20 games, if we can manage to get like 50 points, perhaps, then that would make it much easier to get that 76 point total basically. And I do hope that we do play better against the smaller teams, because we do have the creative players now. And yeah, I don't know, dude, like I mean, obviously there'll be some negatives to this, that Solskjaer is not good enough, or the squad is not good enough, or XYZ. But I do have complete faith in the team, the squad, and I'm not being deluded right now. I don't know about the 76 mark, but I'm pretty sure that we will finish in the top 6. It's just a question of if we are good enough to finish in the top 4 this season, because Arsenal are improving, Chelsea are improving, Man City might get those 76 points very easily, and Liverpool will get those 76 points very easily, because they do have a good team. It's just that they are missing Van Dijk, that's all. So I think we have to get 76 points to be in contention for top 4, and I just hope that we do get that. That's all for this preview. I will be uploading this right away, or at least in the next 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, as you just saw, even the dark reaction will be up today within the next 3 hours. And I've already reacted to the Queen's Gambit episode 2 season 1. That should be up by tomorrow afternoon, because I was busy today and I could not really edit a lot of videos and stuff. And I am going to react to Arrow season 1 episode 2 sort of rewatch sort of stuff that I did with episode 1, and even that will be up on the channel hopefully in the next 24 hours. And tomorrow is obviously a game day, so I'll first do a reaction for like Stranger Things or something like that, or maybe even the Queen's Gambit, I'm not exactly sure. And after that reaction, I'll be ready with the game, and I'll be ready with Football Manager episode 2 of the Manchester United career. So all of these things are coming, so if you are watching, please stay with the channel. I am committed to putting up a lot of videos and stuff, content basically. It would be helpful if I do have your support. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Have a good night, evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you're watching. That's all.